Hello, Flosstube. Not sure if I'm live yet or not. I guess we'll see. It is Monday, September 7th, 2020. Oh, hi, Shelly. How are you? Glad I'm live. It's funny. I use a free program to do these lives, and the box comes up, says preparing your floss tube, and then it disappeared, so I can never figure out if I'm on or not. That's why I always ask. But everybody, welcome. I'm Amy from Little Farm Quilts. I'm a floss tuber. I cross stitch, I knit, I sew, I quilt. I'm a one-arm quilter, all while having a full-time day job as a nurse. So if you're new here, that's me in a nutshell. If you're coming back to see me, thanks so much. Thanks for anybody that's joining me, because honestly, I come on here a lot of times and I'm a little bit of a hot mess. Hi, Gail. It's been a little bit since I've done a floss tube, and I gotta tell you, this floss tube live thing is so much better for me because I went to record a video. Yesterday was Sunday. I worked yesterday. Nice to see you too, except I can't see you, Gail, but nice to chat with you. Saturday, and I recorded once off my phone, and something happened with that video. It chunked it up into several videos, and I couldn't get it to knit back together. Then I tried it again on my computer here at this camera, and I got halfway through the video for the second time, and the computer came up with a memory error. So needless to say, I got a little frustrated, and I didn't do it. And I already felt I think it's been 4 weeks. I think it's been 4 or 5 weeks since my last floss tube. Hi, Mom. It is getting long, Gail. I gotta tell you, I almost made an appointment to get my hair cut, and I actually like it long, I think. So anyway, I like to interact with the chat, so I'm going to get distracted. I do have a generalized post-it note as to what I'm going to talk about, and I only know this because I've already been through it twice. So I decided to do a live instead. I like the lives. I will be honest, the lives are a lot easier because they just upload for me. So you and I can interact, and I also like interacting a little bit, so we can interact here, and then it just uploads for me, and I don't have to hang around for that. I don't have to edit anything. I don't like editing, as those of you that have watched me long enough know. Yes, Mom. Can you see it behind me? Wrong shoulder. Yes, I'm getting ready to do Witch's Night Out, which I'll talk about in the sewing. And so it's been a while. It is, Shelley, very frustrating, and for me, I don't have a lot of patience for it. My mom can attest. If I buy something, it should work the way it should work, and I don't want to have to mess with it. I tried my hand at editing a couple times, and it was okay as long as the video part works fine. The editing wasn't hard, but it's not consistent that I can get that working all the time, and honestly, especially now, I don't have time for it, so I'd rather do the live and interact and update you guys. And I will try to keep the same kind of format on the lives as I always do. I will do this little intro and a little life update. I always do life updates because I feel like part of Flosstube is part of getting to know each other and having stitchy friends. So I will always give a little life update. If you don't want the life update stuff, or you don't want to sit through the intro, then wait until this uploads. Wait until this uploads and watch it and skip the first 10 minutes. Gail, that is awesome. I just ordered a retreat in a box from them I forget the name of it, something Austin, I don't know. I was going to talk about that too. Our trip was good, so that's part of the life update. We, as most of you know, I think I mentioned that we were getting ready to move our son back from Houston. The week of, we were scheduled to fly down there on the 27th, and then Hurricane Laura popped up. And she took a dead aim at both him in Houston and our daughter in northwest Louisiana. So a little bit of stress going into that week. It ended up, and it made landfall like the night before, the 26th, at 1:30 in the morning. I know, because I was up and down here in the basement on the TV watching it make landfall. So anyway, it was supposed to hit Christopher in Houston pretty head on. Hi, Karen. It was supposed to, because Kayla was more inland, it was supposed to hit her at a category 2. So anyway, lots of stress. It ended up missing Christopher completely. It did hit Kayla, but not as bad as they thought it was going to be. So all in all, great. We did leave the 27th as scheduled to fly down. Our first flight from up north, okay, I'm just going to say it, from Rochester, New York to Charlotte, North Carolina was on time, ran fine. The flight from Charlotte to Houston, that flight had to divert around Hurricane Laura, so they added another, I think, they said 30 minutes, I think it was 40 minutes that they added to the trip. So we got into Houston a little bit late, took a taxi to his apartment, almost died twice in the taxi ride. We were just thankful to get to his apartment when we got there. And it was like 100, feels like 110 when we got there. Hi, Jackie. Felt like 110, I think. It felt like that to me. I don't know if it was hot. So I had made the suggestion that we load up. He had a U-Haul trailer that maybe we get up early in the morning and load it up in the morning before it got too hot. Everybody agreed. So that's what we did. Hi, Christine. So we loaded up the trailer, took showers. The office of the apartment complex didn't open till 9, so we were all ready by 9 to be at the office. We turned in his key. He filled out his paperwork. We got on the road. And the plan initially was to, because there's 3 drivers, all of us just switching and drive just straight back because we just wanted to get back to New York. Because New York has quarantine rules for Christopher, which didn't apply to Matt and I because we weren't in Texas we were only there 18 hours. So the quarantine rules didn't really apply to us according to New York State. However, we were in a car with him for 24 hours. And even though I feel relatively safe because he pretty much quarantined in Texas, we're still laying low with Christopher now that we're back. So we ended up not driving straight through the night. All of us were too stinking tired. And so we, about 11:30 at night on Friday night, we stopped. I think we were in Franklin, Kentucky, because I asked Matt about this earlier. We stopped at a hotel. We slept, got up at 4:30, got back on the road, and we were back in our driveway here by 7:30 Saturday night. Our quarantine technically started on Friday when we left the state, so this coming Friday we will be able to move about as normal. And technically, Matt and I can move around as normal. Christopher cannot. He has stayed here, but we're all kind of laying low, just out of respect for people, and it is what it is. I'm not going to get in a discussion here about the policies of the state of New York. I just think some things don't make sense, and that's all I'm going to say about it. I mean, from a nursing perspective, some things just don't make sense. But, it is what it is. This is what we have to deal with. So we're just dealing with what we have to deal with. So, how many minutes are we in? 10 minutes almost to the dot. Quick, one more thing. I started my master's program. It actually starts tomorrow. I started reading for it today. So I was working on that while I was waiting to go live. I don't know how that's going to impact my abilities to do live floss tubes either, so we're going to have to kind of wing it. And I'm changing jobs. This Friday is my last day at my current job, and then I have a week off, and then on the, I believe it's the 21st of September, I start teaching at a local nursing college. So I'm excited about that. So lots of change. Is what it is. It keeps life interesting. I'm excited. I'm excited. I had to work a little bit of this last weekend, which I'm never excited about that. But, honestly, I'm in a master's program, so I'm going to always be working now anyway. So that is what it is. Thanks, Shelley. I'm excited. I'm not excited. I won't lie. I am not excited about being back in school. However, it's a means to an end. I'm only taking one class this semester because I'm starting a new job, and I take more than that when I'm starting a new job. So we're just going to do the one. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Gail. The one class, just get through it. And I was reading, and I decided to. If you guys have ever ordered from Lindy Stitches, you know that she puts little, like a freebie pattern in your order. I love ordering from her. I love ordering from her just because she personalizes every order, to be honest with you. But I've gotten several of these, which is her free pattern that she's been using, and I'm using it for my bookmark in my textbook for this class. So I figure every time I open it, it'll make me giggle. So there you go. So let's see. A lot's been happening since last I was on. Stitching wise, my mom was able to come down. She was here for a week. She sat with our dogs while we went to Texas, so we stitched together while she was down. Lots of stitching happening. Although we're getting to the time of year where I'm going to be more in the sewing. I have as you can see, something on my long arm for a customer right now. I starched some fabric. This shoulder. See, I had to move this shoulder to figure out it was this shoulder. I'm starching All Hallows Eve for Witches Night Out, which I probably should have brought the pattern down to show you later. But I am still stitching quite a bit. Not sure how much I'll be stitching at night or whether I'll be reading textbooks. I will always be stitching in the morning because that's how I like to start my day. So we're just going to have to see how this works out. My work schedule is a little different with the new job. So we'll just have to see. So I think, I don't know if I brought them. I will be really mad if I did not bring them down. I think we're going to start with whips because I have finishes in here somewhere. I just don't know where they ended up when I brought everything down. Oh, they're right here. Okay, but let's start with whips, shall we? I've been ADD stitching, like usual. I kind of have a plan, and we'll talk about that later too. You know how every once in a while I just feel like I have to rein some things in. So let's start with the whips and then we'll go from there. Because I have so much stuff around me here, I am going to take a second to pack things back up. And I have the bin down here to just kind of dump them in, making sure I didn't forget everything. So the first one I'm going to show you, this was a Mania start. It's from Modern Folk Embroidery. Kindness and Fortitude seemed appropriate at the time. Boy, the camera seems to be focusing good tonight. What do you guys think? Let me know. Let me know that you're seeing focused stuff. I have a hoop in here because I generally put this one on a hoop when I stitch. I took it out of the hoop to show you, and you'll understand why in 2 seconds if you haven't seen this before. This is on a piece of 18 count Aida that I dyed, kind of a navy blue mottled look, and I'm stitching it in white. And if y'all didn't just go, that's why she's putting in a hoop, you should be thinking that's why I'm putting in a hoop. I I can tell the difference in the stitches from when I normally stitch in hand. But with the white, I can see the differences in the stitching between the hoop and the in hand, and I don't like how it looks in hand. So sorry, I did not iron it. I was working on this one this morning. I probably will go back to working on it this evening. I don't know. Depends on what I feel like up there. Yeah, Gail, this, and it was just a Duncan die kind of thing with Rit dye. It was midnight blue. Let me unpin this pin because it's holding all the layer together. And I didn't even get the whole thing saturated, so it's kind of mottled. And I believe it, I think I said it's 18 count Aida, stitching with 2 strands of thread. And I like it. I enjoy it. It's an easier stitch. I don't have to use my magnifier on the Aida, so as long as I have good lighting, I'm good to go. This is another one. I decided to start this because this one is also on Aida, and it's an easier stitch. And I just, at times, need something that's not as harsh on my eyes. The linen, I almost always have to use, if it's 32 count or up, I always have to use the magnifier, especially at night. I might be able to get away with it in the morning, but not at night. So I'm part of the Truckin' Along series. I get mine through Fat Quarter Shop. This is from the Housewives, Stitching with the Housewives. If you don't follow them, you should. They're kind of fun. And I got a very small start on this, but let me show you the threads. I like to do the whole twisty thing on the threads, you know. But nice fall colors, you know. Browns, oranges, golds. Nice. And I'm stitching these, I'm trying to remember what I said in my other 2 attempts to do this video. They have these stitched as 2 separate pieces here. I'm stitching them all as one. I think I would do a 2 lines, 2 stitching lines in between them. And I'm stitching this on 14 count black Aida because that's what comes in the kit that I get from Fat Quarter Shop. There's no shame in stitching on Aida. And I didn't get much, but that's like an hour in an evening. That's what I got. And these are all the colors. There you go. All the leaves are different colors. So there you go. That's that. The next whip I have, I'm going to go through these kind of efficiently because I have a lot of them. I don't want to keep you guys here forever. And we're already at 20 minutes. This is Deck the Halls by Blackbird Designs. I am stitching this with my mom and my friend Debbie. And we are stitching these strawberries in the hopes that we are going to be done with them and have them FFO'd for Christmas time. I have already shown you guys this one. I finished that one. And see, it finishes as a strawberry. I should show you as a strawberry. But I wanted you to see the pattern. I have finished this one. I'll tilt these because the light's really kind of washing out. See it? I've shown you all of these already. I finished this one. Kind of like a... I did too, Christine. It is a nice break on the eyes. Linen can get kind of harsh. Okay, and those are the ones I finished. I have another one that I have finished here, but I haven't shown you yet, so I'll show you now. So the one I'm going to show you that's a whip. Why am I think I'm just doomed to be a hot mess on my videos, you know. I just think I am. So the one I'm going to show you that's a whip is this one. And this is being stitched on 36 count Sanguine linen by Weeks Dye Works, which is the called for linen. And I am stitching it one thread over two. In some of the called for DMC, some of the called for over dyed, and some of substitutions. That's how I'm doing these strawberries. They are a stitch from stash thing where I'm stitching with what I have. And since I'm here, I'm just going to show you the finish. This is the one I just finished. This one is called, let me get it so I can show it to you. It's called Christmas Cactus. And this is my finish. And I like it. I had to substitute some colors in here. But you know, I just look at the photo and do the best I can. This one is stitched on 36 count Heartland Edinburgh linen by Picture This Plus. So that's that one. So I have 4 of them done, and the 5th one started, and then the 6th one, and I will be all set to go. Mom, are you working on your strawberries? The other finish I'll show you when I'm all done here. Let's go. I got one pile down. Oh, I don't want to show you that one yet. Okay. Another one I took a day to work on was, pull this all out. See if I can find the cover photo. See, so I thought about having these all pulled out and sitting here eating tea towels with the Christmas cactus, Jackie. I worked on, oh, upside down, Kringles. This is by Little House Needleworks, and I absolutely love this, but there is no hope in God's green earth that I'm going to have it done for this Christmas. Just put that out there. I am stitching it on the called for 30 count Parisian gray, I believe. And this is what I have done. So I only had a little bit of the snow here and some of the darker color on the roof done. I sat down one day, oh, the strawberries. I got a lot done. There's actually a ton of stitches in there. Let me see if I can find, if the, yes, 30 count Parisian gray legacy linen, and I love it. It is a dream to stitch on. I'm stitching it 2 over 2. I like the coverage a lot. I may probably, I don't know if it calls for 2 over 2 because honestly I didn't look at it that closely. But I love the coverage, and it's an easy, it's a big project, but it's easy to stitch. I love it. And the fabric is awesome. I love legacy linen. And it was funny, I was watching another Flosstuber stitching in the bluegrass today, and she has just ordered herself some legacy linen because she had heard that it was awesome to stitch on. It is, Gail. It's a lot of stitches, but I really enjoy stitching on it. Really enjoy stitching on it. And I have been in the mood lately for some Christmas stitching. So last night I worked on, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, you saw it. I worked on Jack Frost Tree Farm, which honestly I think I started in Mania of 2019. And then I had barely worked on it. And I picked it up last night and was working on it. Alright. Next one. This is one of my problem children. Maybe you guys have some input on these. Anyway, this was a Mania start. It's Harriet Elizabeth Coe by Brenda Gervais. So, there's this picture here. Then there's a picture on the inside of what the original looks like, kind of worn. There's several pictures, and I can't really show that to you because then it's going to show you the pattern. Oh, here we go. How about this one? And then it shows some faded ones, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see these. So I'm struggling. Hi, Audria. I'm struggling. I have been struggling since the very beginning as to what kind of colors I wanted to use. And again, this was a Stitch from Stash thing. I didn't really want to go into buying a ton of stuff for it, but I wanted to stitch it. So I'm stitching it on 28 count Mushroom Ugana. And this is what I've come up with so far, and I'm still not completely convinced that I like it enough to keep stitching it. Let's see, that's true to color right there. So all of those letters are eyelet stitched, which I like, I enjoy. I'm just still trying to decide if this is the color palette I want to use. I think I should just keep stitching it and go with it, and if it's something that I don't like in the end, I'll enjoy the stitching process and I can just frame it and put it in one of the spare bedrooms so I don't have to see it very often. It is a nice easy stitch, 28 count. Again, it's one of those things that I can stitch on. I don't really need the magnifier, just a decent light. So I'm using some of the called for, actually I think the only, and some DMC conversion. I think, honestly, I think the only two things that I'm using that are called for is the Vine is in General Arts Endive because I had it. And this is in Weeks Seafoam. The light's washing that out a little bit. That's a little better. So I think I'm just going to keep stitching it in the colors that I've chosen. And we'll see. I'd spent 2 days. I said I was going to spend 5 on it. See, I post all these things out on Instagram and then I make myself a liar. Because what I said I was going to do for September, Sampler September, is spend 5 days on 4 different samplers so that I could see some significant progress. And I haven't followed that yet. And we're on the 7th of September. So that's not happening. Another one of my faves to stitch on right now. I'm really kind of settling in to what I like to stitch on, which really is so much different now than it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago when I got back into it. I have a lot of what they call BAPs going, which some people say big project. I say big awesome project, depending on my mood. I have a lot of big uns going, but I enjoy them. I really, really do. I think I enjoy the stitching process on them more than I ever thought I would. So I'll probably never get them all done before I die, but you know, hey. I just bumped the microphone, so sorry. So the next one is Huckleberry Farm by the Blue Flower. This is the one I decided to take on the trip to Texas, thinking that I would be able to stitch on the ride home. Oh, big old projects. That's good, Shelly. I should use that, because I don't like to do the... Anyway. So I absolutely love this one. I fell in love with it when it was released at Market. Ginny McGowan, the Blue Flower, she does have her own Flosstube, so please go check her out. I'm doing all DMC, so let me show you all the threads. These are all the DMCs. I do too, Gail. And I love the DMC colors in this. I love them. And I'm stitching it on. Let me pull this out. Hold on. It called for, let me get there. I know you guys are probably all screaming at me going, why are you not more organized when you get on live? It's just how I roll, guys. You're just going to have to bear with it. So it calls for 36 count shale linen by Picture This Plus. Oh, I have 2 other threads in here. I couldn't, when I went to go kit this one up. I could not get the linen, the 36 count linen. I did get 18 count Aida though, in shale by Pictureless Plus, and that's good enough for me. And I gotta tell you, I really like their Aida. So I, I thought I was going to be able to get so much done of this project. I think my, what I think I can get done and what I can actually get done are two totally different things. I was thinking I would get the bulk of this project done on a 24-hour car ride from Texas. Why wouldn't I think that I could get the bulk of this done? No. So a couple things happen. It just makes me laugh now every time I look at it. Because how I thought I was going to be able to stitch anything in the back seat of an Escape. No, he has a Ford Escape, an old one, bigger one, pulling a U-Haul trailer. No idea how I thought that was going to happen. Really was not using my critical thinking skills on that at all. I love it though. Look at the house was the first thing I did. I got that done during the first day of Mania because I took that day off. So in the airport, in the Rochester airport, I got this finished, this bear area here. I had the mountain in, I had the bear in, I was filling in the grass, and I got that done in the airport while we were waiting. Then I filled in some of the light green on these leaves and the stems on some of these blossoms. Then, let's make this easier for me to handle. I finished, I don't know if you can see in this, yes, you can see it there. There's a light yellow in the corners of all these. I finished those and put some letters in. That was all before the drive back. I think I did the D. I think I did the C, D, and started the E in the driving. And I poked my finger so much that I put it away for the first day of driving. So then on day 2, I said, well, let's work this vine stopped right up in here. Let's work on pulling this down, because at least that's vine stitching. And if it's off, it's easy to take out. It's not a big deal. Let's just get the vine to the bottom. It took me this section from here all the way down to here. It took me like 2 hours in the back seat of the truck. But I got some of it done. And it is coming back out to play this coming week, just because, well, I only have 4 days at my job, my current job this week left. And Thursday they're having a goodbye breakfast for me, so I'm going to that. My classwork doesn't seem too intense this week yet, so I'm hoping that's going to come back out to play. Now, if it doesn't, next week I'm on vacation, and it's definitely, sorry, my nose itches, definitely coming out to play next week. I just like stitching on it. The fabric's awesome to stitch on. The colors are great. And I'd love to get that done, get it framed and up in my house. Okay. We're almost there, believe it or not. So the next one I brought out to play was Token of Love. This is the one I started for mine and my husband Matt's anniversary. We are celebrating 25 years of being happily married this Christmas Eve. Okay, I just have to gush a little bit. Now my sister's probably going to pipe in here. My husband and I were met late June of the same year we got married, and we were married December 24th. We have been together ever since and happily married. We are our own little love story. And that we are super proud of. So I thought it deserved a stitch. This is like got our blues in there. I know, Jackie. See, I told you my sister was going to pipe in. We are still super happily married. So I decided to do this. We decide every time we go to decorate the house, paint rooms, we always think blues and greens, everything. So they seem to be our colors. So this was nice. It was blues and browns. It was kind of muted. Get a room. I was waiting for that. Muted, nice tealy blues. I'm using some of the called for, some of my own conversion from like, I think Weeks to Classic Colorworks, because that's what I have, yeah. But there is one color that I don't have a good conversion for, and I am going to order it. It's an overdyed. So everybody who doesn't know in the chat, Jackie is one of my sisters. I have two sisters, Jackie and Tricia, and I have a stepbrother, Eric. Jackie's always telling us to get a room. So, but then I should have brought it down here. If I didn't know she was going to be on, I would have. She gave us the sweetest present. She had come home. We had gone over to Phelps for the Sauerkraut Festival, and we had gone for the parade. And my husband and I were walking down the street. And she took a picture of us from behind. And normally I would be very angry that somebody took a picture of us behind, but we were holding hands walking, and she framed that picture and gave it to us for a gift. So she says all this get a room stuff, but she's pretty happy we're happily married too. See, she's still going. Anyway, brought this out to play. I don't think it was a mania start. I think it was just I wanted to start. And I used my anniversary as an excuse to start it. Okay, Jackie, enough emojis. My goodness. I'm stitching this. Oh, I have the fabric tag in here. It's 32 count French roast by R&R. Yeah, Matthew is the patriarch. You're right. And I like stitching on this. Very nice fabric. I have to just stop making mistakes on this thing so I can stop ripping stuff out. I'm not sure why I'm having an issue. But this is where I've gotten. I finished this whole motif. I put Matt's initials in up here. I know you do, Jackie. I love you too. And this is fun to stitch. Somehow, I don't know what I did, but I have to attack. I love doing Quaker motifs, which is what these are, for those of you that aren't familiar. These are Quaker motifs. But I have to approach them systematically or they end up not being right. So let me explain. This one right here, let me narrow this down. This one right here, okay? When I stitched, I did these two, came around here, did these two, and then went to go do these ones on this side, and I was a thread off. So I ended up having to rip all the way back because obviously that was not going to work, right? And having to redo. Fortunately, this fabric, I do like R&R fabrics. They hold up well to having to frog stitches, so it's good. But I enjoy working on this one too. I don't have anything in my rotation right now that I don't thoroughly enjoy stitching on. So, there you go. So this, everybody's going to laugh at this one. Okay, you ready? It's fun. So, I don't know how many of you guys remember, but back in February, Erin from Two Martini Stitcher wanted to do a sale. Long Dog Leap Day sale. And I decided I wanted to do it with her because I liked the chart she was doing. So I went ahead and got the chart she was doing. I converted it to DMC. I worked very hard at converting it to DMC. It does, Gail. I have to approach them systematically or I'm always a thread off. I don't know what the deal is with that. But so I worked, I'm just going to flash this to you really quick. I worked really hard on a DMC conversion where I brought up pictures of the Gentle Arts because we're going to talk about cardinal points. Beautiful chart. It was a collaboration between Gentle Arts and Long Dog Samplers. Julia Line from Long Dog Samplers. And I didn't want to, this is another big one, 225 by 225, so it's bigger size. I did not want to spend all of that money in overdyes, unless I had them in Classic Colorworks, which I didn't have a ton that were going to work. So I decided to convert to DMC. So I worked very hard with pictures to convert them to DMC, and then made my DMC conversion. Then I started stitching this on 36 count Winter Moon Edinburgh linen, a beautiful piece of linen. And I'm stitching, and I'm going to start by showing you this first. Well, this is the third start on this, because if you guys remember way back when I first started, I started on 14 count white Aida, and I decided very quickly I didn't want it that big. Then I got 18 count white Aida. This was when I was in Houston for a visit in February. And started on there, got home, trimmed down the fabric, and trimmed it too small. And thankfully I didn't have much stitched in it that time either. So I got this 36 count Edinburgh linen and love it. I love stitching on it. It's a breeze to stitch on. I'm doing 2 threads over 2 because I like the coverage of 2 threads over 2 on most 36 count. There's some 36 count I don't do that. And I start stitching. Pretty, huh? So then I decided I needed to work, as I always start in the upper right hand corner, that I needed to work across the top and ensure that I had enough fabric, because I had this piece that I was working with and I didn't center start it. I was certain that I had enough fabric. And I do. Just. So I don't know if you guys remember, because I did show this on a Flosstube. I stitched all the way over. So there's one more. This is the other side. So just so you know, other side. I stitched all the way over. There's one more line of stitching on this side of the green. And that leaves me, well, I think it's just over 1/4 inch. I have a ruler here somewhere. Just over 1/4 inch for finishing on that side. And I did cut the fabric straight enough. It doesn't look it here because it's all wrinkled, but it's okay all the way down. So I showed this on a Flosstube. I said I didn't know what I was going to do with this, but that I was going to have to restart it. So then, who was I watching? Lady Wing Designs on YouTube. She finished hers. So I went and pulled this out. It has been in timeout for months. I think I put it in timeout before the pandemic. I think it was before the pandemic. Because I just didn't know what to do with it. And guys, that's a lot of stitching. That's a lot of time right there. Right? So what I decided to do, I double serged that edge, not serge, zigzag. I don't have a serger. I have a sewing machine. I double zigzag that edge so that it will not fray. And it's not going to fray. And I'm going to keep stitching it on here. And if I need to, well, I will need to, I'm going to stitch, maybe I'll border it in a fabric. I just pulled my needle out twice. Let's get this in here. I'm either going to have to border it with a fabric before I put it in a frame, if that's what I do with it, or border it with a fabric and make it into a pillow. But I'll border it with something. Maybe a nice gray print. I don't know, we'll see. But I am going to continue to stitch it. And then I'll figure out what to do with it when it's done. But I am stitching. I put a few stitches in it that night just because Lady Wing Designs kind of inspired me to get it back out. And I did, and I do enjoy stitching on it. It's just kind of disheartening, you know, that there's not more fabric on the side, but I make quilts for a living. I can piece some stuff on there, so. No, Gail, I have not. If you can figure out the name, let me know. I'd be happy to look it up. So that's that. That's the story on that. We're sticking to it, and I'm gonna just, yeah. I'm just gonna keep going. The new normal. Bordering will work. I think it will, Gail. Don't you? You sew, right? So the next one I'm going to show you is Jack Frost Tree Farm. I have every part to this. I'm stitching it all in one piece. You can either stitch it all in one piece or all separately, like it shows there. I'm doing it all in one piece. The new normal. I'm going to have to write that down so I can look it up. Hold on, guys. I do not need any enabling, by the way. As you will be able to tell here shortly. So anyway, this is part 1 of Jack Frost Tree Farm. I think this was put out in, it might have been 2019 or 18. It was at least 19, probably 18. But I'm stitching this on 28 count Monaco that I coffee tea dyed. A nice big piece. My thought process is that the colors would pop, and they do. And I've got this almost done. Part 1 almost done. Which means I can start on part 2 soon. I have a little bit to do, as you know, as you can tell. I have to finish out the house here. I have forgot a tree, little tree in here. There's a couple cardinals up on trees up here. But you know, that's probably a good evening's worth of stitching. Here I go saying that's an evening's worth of stitching. We'll see if that's accurate. I'm using the called for or the DMC substitutes. So, and I like it. I enjoyed it. I do use 28 count Monaco. Tends to, the holes shrink up when you dye it and bake it. So I tend to use a ballpoint needle. Does that make sense? They are fun to stitch. I think the whole thing's fun to stitch. And that is, again, another easy peasy stitch. You know, don't have to think about it too much. So, everybody's on tonight. I want to talk to you about this one. So, this is, let me open it up, Land That I Love by Teresa Kogut. I am stitching this on 40 count Beach Brew by R&R. It was my first venture into 40 count, and wouldn't you know I like it. Before I show you mine, I had a giveaway for this, my last live video. I drew a winner. She never contacted me. I've reached out to her, commented on her comment. I still have not gotten anything. So, after this video posts to YouTube, I still have a copy of this. Comment on the video after it posts to YouTube. Go back in, do a comment, put on there, Land That I Love, somewhere in your comment, not giveaway, not prize, not entry, and I will draw another winner before I do my next live video. And we'll give it away again. I still have a copy here. It's right up here in my bin. But remember, you have to go in after the video posts to YouTube. That's what we found out last time. So, here's the threads for this one. I'm using all the called for on 40 count Beach Brew by R&R. And they're just pretty threads, right? And this one, you'll be happy to know I have plenty of fabric. There you go. And this is what I have done. Let's get it all in there. See, I took it over to the corner so that I would know that I had enough. And I enjoy working on this. This I'm going to show you this part up close. It's just nice. I mean, look at that flag. I'm very patriotic, as you guys all know. So, I'm enjoying stitching on this. I wish I could stitch faster on it, but 9 times out of 10 I'm working on it at night. Eyes are already tired. And I'm using my magnifier because it's 40 count. And stitching in hand. I did put it on my scroll rods once because I thought that might make it a little easier, but it didn't. It made it harder and more awkward for me. Stitching in hand for me is much easier. That's what I'm used to doing, and that's what I like to do. Okay, 2 more. We're already 51 minutes in. Okay. So this was not a mania, this was an enabled start. I saw this on both X-Stitch MD, Shiloh, and then I saw it on Lori, I think, Laura or Lori on Mischievous Stitches, and I simply needed to stitch it. This is Southern Land by Owl Forest Embroidery. And, okay, so I'm going to give up a little haul right now. I bought myself a tablet to run Pattern Keeper. And Pattern Keeper is a game changer for me. So, this is on my tablet for Pattern Keeper. Stitching in hand is a game changer. I think I stitch faster, Shelly, stitching in hand. I think a hoop slows me down. I am finding that even putting a hoop in my floor stand that I got is slowing me down. I find that none of that is helpful for me. I'm more comfortable and I've stitched faster stitching in hand. So, this is Southern Land by Owl Forest Embroidery. I'm stitching this on a piece of 36 count. I don't remember what it is, honestly, and the label's not on. I just know it's 36 count and it's white. I leave my needles in my projects, and here's where I've gotten. Directionally challenged. I love this. It's easy to stitch. Pattern Keeper makes it a breeze. It's just easy to stitch. Owl Forest Embroidery has it set up with the Owl Forest silks. I did not want to wait for Owl Forest silks to get here. I believe they're in Germany, and I didn't want to wait, so I got the DMCs on Michael's curbside pickup, and there they are. They're pretty, very pretty. And the patterns, easy to read on Pattern Keeper. I did not see that one. Gail, you're killing me. She's enabling me. So I have to look this up too. 100 owl sale. If I start new projects because of you, Gail, I might have to come and visit, and we'll have a stitchy weekend or something. Crazy pants. I have enough stuff going. I gotta get some of this stuff finished. And the last one I want to show you is Pandemic by Long Dog. So this was a free pattern that Long Dog Samplers put out. I downloaded it. It was free. I said I would probably never stitch it. When Mom came down this last time, she said, "You want to start that together?" I said, "Sure." So we go to my local needlework shop, and I drop a small fortune in fabric, one of which was for this. So I had bought a hank of black silks from Silks for You. It's a really nice, the lighting's kind of making it look blue. It's a really nice charcoal black. So that's what I'm using. I'm stitching this on 40 count Heartland, or Heritage by Picture This Plus. Sorry. And I started up in the upper right hand corner. See, I had to frog some stuff, and it looks, you can tell it has been frogged, which I don't like, but I'll fix that. And this is like 2,000 stitches worth. I think. 1,500 stitches worth. So that's my start on that. See, I wish I could stitch on that tonight too. There's like 5 projects here that I'd love to stitch tonight, so I'll have to see what calls me when I get upstairs. But it looks nice. That black silk, the heritage is kind of blown out. That's probably truer to color right there. It's like a khaki, mottled khaki green. Which if you know me, you know that's right up my alley because that's about the color of my Jeep. But I did start it. I'm having a ball with it. Like I said, I'm enjoying everything I'm stitching. When's your birthday, Gail? That would be a good birthday start. That one is also on my Pattern Keeper app on my tablet, which is awesome. So I finished. So I showed you one. I have 2. This was a start and finish. I started this and finished it in 3 days. It's called Cataween Wanda. It's from Stitching Housewives. Their Etsy shop is all one word, Stitching Housewives. And I just thought she was cute. And I needed some Halloween stuff. So I'm stitched this on a piece of 28 count Monaco sorry, the dogs just went off and I couldn't figure out why since my husband and son are upstairs. But anyway, 28 count Monaco that I dyed and coffee tea dyed. So I dyed this, it looks like midnight blue, and then I coffee tea dyed it. And there she is. I gave her a purple silk dress. The rest are all called for flosses, but I didn't have the purple they called for, so I chose my purple silk and gave her a purple dress. And I did not stitch the candy corns that are around her in this because I'm not sure what I want to do with her. And once I figure that out, but she's cute. She was a fast stitch. She was cute. I stitched part of her during a meeting. I stitch a lot during these Zoom meetings or we do Skype meetings at work because it keeps my hands occupied and I actually pay attention more in the meeting. There must be a study out there somewhere. Thanks, Gail. That was something I dyed. I don't dye as much of my own fabric anymore, but I think I might have to start because it's a little cheaper if you dye it yourself. So we're going to go into haul. So I showed you my tablet already. It was pretty inexpensive tablet. I use it to run Pattern Keeper. It is a game changer for me. Lindy Stitches is now making all her patterns Pattern Keeper friendly. Some of the patterns that I had, like Emily's house, I should have brought Emily's house down. I don't know why I don't have Emily's house here. Anyway, I had worked on Emily's house from Lindy Stitches earlier too, so I'm not sure where that ended up. But I emailed her because she said the only one that was not Pattern Keeper friendly that she had to make a whole new file was Mary Needleworker, and if you'd already purchased that, she would email it, contact her, she would email it to you. I contacted her, she emailed it to me, so now I have that on Pattern Keeper too. Okay, haul. Stay focused. Haul. I ordered from Lindy Stitches. I've gotten several things, but one of the things I got, she has a pattern that I bought. I think it's called Broken Pieces. You guys must know what I'm talking about. I think it's called Broken Pieces. I love the saying on it. I love the stitching on it. And I bought the floss pack from her. So I got that. As if I need to start a new project. But I got that. It's all ready to go. I got some patterns. These are from Stitching Housewives. I got Hello Fall, just because I think the fox is cute. I got Fall Y'all. I probably will not put Fall Y'all on there and probably just do Fall, but I think the Scarecrow is cute. I got Gingham Greetings, because I think you can do that truck in a couple different colors and have nice ornaments for the tree. As if I'm going to get that done. I did get the October truck from Fat Quarter Shop. I'm sorry about the glare. I'm not unbagging that right now. Again, I will do that all in one piece. I got the Liberty jar. I stopped getting the jar club when the bunnies came out, before the bunnies came out, when they previewed the bunnies, because honestly I didn't really like the bunnies. But I did want the Liberty jar, and I have the other one with the daisies in it. Bloom, maybe it's called. So I have those patterns, and I will stitch them. I actually have this one kitted up with the floss already, and I have 14 count black Ada in my... I know, gal. I love that chart. Chart. It's quirky. I just like her charts. But anyway... So I got this. This is called All Hallows Eve Sampler. It is by Joan Elliott Design. And I got this. Here's the deal. These sections, this section, I want to stitch them on their own and make them into drums. They're only 2 colors. And I'm sure I have a fabric that I can stitch that on. But I would like to make them into drums. I'd like to make me some drums. The other pattern I got, which I'm not really starting soon, but I did pick my colors for, Quaker Virtues by Bygone Stitches. Apparently, this says it came out in 2008, reprinted in 2016. Mom and I saw this at my local needlework shop. I fell in love with it. Of course, the Quaker thing. I think I'm going to start Quaker Halloween soon. I just like it. I love it. It's got words in there that you probably can't make out. Equality, simplicity, community, integrity. And I absolutely love it. She's a big girl. She is 400 by 320. So done on 40 count, she is, let me see if I can move this so I can see this. On 40 count, she's 20 inches wide by 16 high. She's a big girl. And here they call for, let's see, Classic Color Works. You know, this is an old pattern because they call it Crescent Colors. It has not Crescent Colors anymore. Old Blue Jeans or Gentle Arts Gentle Black or Carriage Black, and the second color is Crescent Colors Wisconsin Woods or Gentle Arts Berry Cobbler. I picked 2 DMCs that I'm going to do this with. And if I pick fabric that these don't go with, then I may have to change the colors. But this is what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at DMC 924 and DMC 927. I think those together on that sampler would be awesome. So that's the plan. I'm trying to see where I'm putting everything. Right here in front of me. Alright. The last bit of haul I have is fabric. If you hung out here this long, thank you so much. Did I see Knitting Jackie? I bought when I ordered from Lindy Stitches, she had a fabric that I had never heard of before for her Dracula pattern gale. Anubis linen. It's by Under the Sea Fabrics. I think it's Anubis. It's 28 count. I bought it 18 by 26 piece. It's perfect for Halloween stuff. Look at that. That is pretty, it's a little deeper than what it's showing there. I think the lights are washing it out a little bit. But I love it. And new fabric smells good. I know you guys are going to think I'm weird now, as if you didn't before. This is the 40 count Heritage. I bought a big piece of that by Picture This Plus. This is what I have left of that. This is 32 count Valerian steel linen from Fabrics by Stephanie. I bought a big piece of this. Look at that. Smells good. I don't know, Gail, not with her, but I would search Under the Sea Fabrics and see if they have it. Well, I'm going to talk knitting here in a second, Jackie. It does look a lot like although I have Murky here, so I will compare that when Murky comes up. It actually doesn't look as much like Murky as you think, at least not my piece of Murky. But I really love the Valerian steel. It's a nice gray. This I got, this is 40 count Tycho linen by Picture This Plus. You're not going to be able to tell on camera. It's white and it's got some very light gray modeling in it. But it's very nice. And I gotta figure out what to stitch on this thing. But I like that too. I got a 40 count Confederate Gray Weeks Dye Works. It's a very nice kind of gray brown. It's kind of washing out in the camera. Let's see if that's a little better. And I got a piece of Murky. Where's the tag? This is 32 count Murky Lugana. So this is the Lugana Murky, I should say. Let me hold it out like this. Okay. This is the Anubis. The Anubis is a deeper brown color for sure. I like the white stitching on the dark blue fabric too. I like monochromatic pieces. That seems to be my new thing. There was something else I was going to show you guys with that. Alright, I think I'm done with the cross stitch. So if you guys are only here for the cross stitch, I'm going to touch a little bit on sewing and a little bit on knitting. If you don't want us to hang around for that, don't feel bad about that. Just bye. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it, but I do have a couple things to say about knitting and a couple things to say about sewing. Okay? And don't forget, we have a giveaway. Alright, so after this post to YouTube, go and comment for the giveaway. I'm trying to see if I don't think it is, I don't know where it is. My Witch's Night Out quote pattern is, but we'll talk about that some other time. So, one of my goals the other day, you guys know I've been knitting socks. I'm using this yarn, I forget what it's called now, it's from Forbidden Fiber Co. I'm super simple vanilla sock pattern. You guys know I got one sock done. I finally turned the heel on sock number 2. So I'm working on the gusset decreases now. And I'm knitting socks. These are for my daughter Courtney. And she wanted my first pair of socks, so they're for her. I told her I'm holding them for ransom. She had to cancel her trip home in September, which we were kind of bummed about, mainly because of New York State's quarantining guidelines. Again, I'm not going to speak to those. So, anyway, I told her that she will get her socks when she comes home to visit and not a day sooner. And so she says, no, you can't hold my socks hostage. And I'm like, yes, I can. But I'm working on the gusset decreases. I'm also working on my Hue Shift Afghan, which I did not bring down here. I am working kind of rhythmically on my knitting. Yeah, socks. Jackie, did you not know I was knitting socks? I have lots of sock yarn that I have bought that I'm going to be knitting socks, and now I found out by watching Shiloh on X Stitch MD that Michaels has a nice striping sock yarn, so I have to check that out. Jackie, I can teach you if you want to do a video chat. But here's the pattern, just so if you're interested, you can go search for it. It's called the super simple cuff down sock designed by Louise Patterson from Wildflower Wool. So go search for that, download it, and I can show you where you can get videos to learn how to knit socks. It is fun. I think they're fun. I have found a way to do them that I really like. And I have yarn to do them with, which I'm grabbing here. I got more skeins from Forbidden Fiber Co. I was in their Yarn of the Month Club. That is, I got out of the club because I'm not knitting fast enough to use up all the yarn. I have a skein upstairs. Then I have this skein that's called Fortitude that I caked up and it's ready to go. It's pinks and greens and purples. The light's kind of washing it out. That's better. I have that. Then the last one I got was this one. It is called Pride. It's got a little glitter in it. Can you see it? So I've got that. Okay, Jackie, deal. Then I signed up. They had an Avengers Endgame box. Forbidden Fiber Co. did. They don't have them anymore, so no worries about that. The camera's not focusing anymore. I don't think so. Let's get it to, there we go. See, there's a whole thing with that Jedi thing. It came with 6 mini skeins of yarn with a pattern. Let me pull the pattern. It's an Infinity War wrap. Came with it. It came with a bunch of stitch markers, progress keepers. It came with, what does that come with? Stitch markers, progress keepers. It came with a bar of soap. It was kind of like a knitting retreat in a box. Came with, I think, a couple candies or whatever. It was kind of a knitting retreat in a box. And it was fun. So it came with these. I caked these up already. They come in mini skeins. I've showed you guys those before. They come all twisted. You have to kind of cake them up or roll them in a ball or something. This one is Scarlet Witch. This one is Iron Man. I don't know if you guys are Marvel fans. We definitely are. This is Loki. This is Thanos. This is, alright, this is Nebula. And this is Black Panther. How sad is it that that actor passed away? I'm not starting this pattern until I get my socks done, my pair of socks done, and I have a scarf in process. And then I want to start this, but then I'm blanking on his name now. The gentleman that played Black Panther passed away, and it made me want to start this scarf. I don't know why. Just, you know, to remember him, and I don't know. But I'm not going to start it until I get a couple of knitting projects done. So I was sad by that news, and as I'm sure many, many others were as well. Are you dying laughing, Jackie? That's what I want to know. Alright, I'm just going to give you a quick sewing update. I've been working on trying to get the Bloomtopia charity quilt finished. I'm a little behind. I have all the blocks cut out. But, anyway, finally got down in my sewing room today. We had a rainy day. Yeah. And so I got this block done today. That's done and ready to go in. The rest of the blocks are all cut. I just need time to get down here, sew them. I had the borders all cut and everything. I'm starching fabric behind me for Witch's Night Out, which I think I've shown you guys that pattern before. And I thought I had it right here somewhere. Hold on. Nope. It's here somewhere. But I was planning a Christmas quilt. I already have one Christmas Borgello quilt in the works that I'm going to finish this year. And so I want to plan another Christmas quilt. I have this book, Sunday Best Quilts, put out by Corey Yoder. No, this is Sherry McConnell and Corey Yoder, sorry. And I follow Corey Yoder on Instagram. And she just came out with a Christmas line of fabrics that I pre-ordered bundle of because I absolutely love her fabric line. And she said something on, she has this quilt in her book. It's called Starling. And she, in her Instagram, said, wouldn't that look great with Huckleberry, which is her Christmas line that just came out that I have. So, I am going to do this quilt. You can see another picture of it kind of here. With her Christmas fabrics that just came out, called Huckleberry. So I have picked 20 fat quarters to use. It's a fat quarter friendly quilt. So here's the first batch. Here is the second grouping. So let's put these together. Green and red. And here's the last grouping. Well, there's 4 groupings. Here's number 3. And here's number 4. And that's what I'm going to use for that quilt. So the next in line to get starched is that one. And I think that's all I have. We're 1 hour, 17 minutes in. And you guys hung in there. Awesome. Thanks. Thanks for joining me. I so appreciate it. I like the lives because I like the fact that we get to interact. I cannot guarantee at this time that I will be able to do them every week. I will try to do them every week, every 2 weeks. Yeah, I won't try not to let it go as long as this one did. I think it was actually 4 weeks or more on this one, so I'm sorry, guys. Life is what it is, and it's been super busy for us, and it continues to be so. Who'd have thought after your kids grow up, you're busier than when they were in the house. And it's a little crazy pants, but thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. In order to enter the drawing for Land That I Love, you have to comment after this post to YouTube, so come back like tomorrow. And once it posts, you can comment. You put Land That I Love in the comment. You have to like and subscribe to this channel in order to be in the drawing. And I look to make sure you're a subscriber. So, because I know I have lots of people that watch that don't subscribe, and I don't really care about the subscriber number. But it is a good way to indicate that you guys like seeing me. So, thanks for coming. Happy Labor Day if you're in the United States. If you're in Canada, I assume you're celebrating Labor Day as well, I believe. It's just spelled differently. And around the world, if you're watching, have a good night. Do stuff that makes you happy and that feeds your soul.